Do you find it hard moving on from a narcissist or from a toxic person or from that relationship that you just got out of and you're like, it doesn't make sense? Like, I don't really know what to do, how to process. It doesn't make sense. Well, I'm going to talk to you about 4 different things today of questions that people ask about it being real, if they cared, was it personal, do they hate me, like different things to help you understand about closure from a narcissist, because typically you're not going to get closure. It's not going to be something that is going to happen, at least not on your terms. I'm not on terms of you actually getting an idea of understanding what happened or getting an apology or getting them to admit it. It's not going to happen. So today I want to at least try to be able to help provide some answers and hopefully get you at least some closure from a narcissist, because a lot of times you're not going to get that at all. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. We do that on multiple different platforms every single day, dropping small nuggets of truth to try to help you in that process. So if you haven't checked it out already, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, go follow us on any of those accounts. Just look up Raw Motivations. You can listen to the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, all everywhere under Raw Motivations. If you haven't had a chance to look at the NARC app, just type in narcapp.com, narcapp.com. Stands for Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community. It's a community of people to help you heal, grow, and change. One of the big things coming out of a narcissistic relationship is the confusion, is trying to get closure, but it is the confusion of everything that's going on. And you need a community that's going to help support you, that's going to help you understand that you're not alone in the battle that you're fighting right now. We do that by having courses on there, by having accountability, by different exercises to help you understand and learn the things that you're going through. Also, weekly lives that you can ask questions throughout the week and get an answer. Also, monthly coaching where we bring in myself and coaches from all over the globe to try to help you in your healing, in your growth, and in your change. So check that out, narcapp.com. If you want to talk to me sometime one-on-one, would love to interact with you, go to rawmotivations.com, click on one-on-ones, and love to be able to have a time to spend with you to help you find that clarity coming away from all the crazy making. So anyways, closure. A lot of times people are looking for closure from a narcissist, and it's hard because you get out of the relationship and there's like a finality of like, okay, what is actually happening? Can I actually let go of what there once was? And when we talk about closure, it gets so hard, it's so confusing to let go and to figure out, but wait, like I don't understand this. I don't understand this. One of the first questions that people ask a lot of times, was it all real? Like, was the relationship that I was in, was it just all fake? Like, I thought they loved me. I thought they cared. Like, was it all fake? Like, they showed me different things. There was glimpses. And the thing you have to remember is that you look back on the relationship, your mind will automatically want you to find the positivity in it, of the glimpses of the small moments that were supposedly real or supposedly happy or supposedly healthy. And a lot of times you'll start to think that that's what the relationship was. A lot of times that's where we start minimizing the stuff that we've actually come through. But when you look back at it and you say, but it felt at times like that love was real, my next question is typically, but how is that demonstrated on a day-to-day basis? Because a narcissist won't continue to show love consistently. It'll be intermittent. So they can lock you in with the idealization, the devaluation, the ups and the downs, the highs and the lows, to lock you into that trauma bond that makes you trapped so that you're not going to leave. So that you stay stuck with them to help improve their image, their finances, their sex life, whatever it might be. So oftentimes people look back at the past and all they do is they pick out the good moments. They'd be like, those seemed real. Well, a lot of them were real to you, but they might not have been real to the other person. Second question a lot of people ask is, did they ever care? Like, did they ever care? Did they even care about me as a person? Fortunately, a lot of times the easiest answer with that is no, they didn't. They didn't show it. They didn't demonstrate it like we just talked about. Well, a good example that someone gave me just recently that I was able to do a small video on was the idea of when you order food and you're at home and the DoorDasher brings it and you get the food and then they leave, you don't miss the delivery driver. You don't miss the person that just gave you the food. But if they failed to do their job and failed to show up and actually provide that food, you would miss the food. A lot of times in a narcissistic relationship, the narcissist isn't missing you. And so it's not that aspect that they care about you, but they care about what they get. So sometimes that question, did they ever care? They didn't really care about you. They showed that by their demonstration. What they cared is what you provided. Finances, image, kids, whatever it might be. Third question a lot of people ask is, was it personal? Because it felt personal to me. Like, it felt like they came into my life to purposely destroy it and make me feel like the awful person that they made me feel. And a lot of times I have to explain that guilt and shame are huge aspects that a narcissist is trying to do to avoid having guilt and shame in their life. So that accountability, that responsibility. So I'll do anything I can to avoid that guilt and shame. If that means I hurt you in the process, that's okay in the narcissistic mind. It's okay if I hurt you. It doesn't mean I walked in and I'm like, hey, I'm going to hurt you today. No, it's, hey, this reveals guilt and shame. I can't handle this. Throw it on you. Oops, did that hurt you? Too bad. At least I didn't get hurt by it. That is the thought process that's going on. So there's a lot of stuff with narcissism that is not generally personal, of like, I'm purposely going to attack you. Now, that doesn't include sociopath and psychopath. Those get a lot more personal, okay? But a lot of times narcissistic personality disorder is going away, is trying to avoid guilt and shame at all costs. And as a result, they'll throw it on anybody else. They'll move out of the way. They'll roll over other people so they don't have to experience that. Fourth question a lot of people ask is, do they hate me? Well, you see, a narcissist has to be able to change in their mind the image that they've already put you up as. So a lot of times you have the pedestal that they build up to make you look good to everybody else, and then they tear it down so you keep trying to come back to them, or you keep trying to like get validation from them. A lot of times they have to destroy your good image so that you don't outshine theirs, because their image is more important. A lot of times when you're looking for closure in your life, you're looking for an apology. You're looking for another person to take accountability or to take responsibility for the things that they've done or the ways that they have hurt you. Unfortunately, a narcissist is not going to give you closure, especially if they know that's what you want. If they know, oh, this person really wants closure, you're never getting it. The narcissist will not give closure because what it does is it reveals that they've done something wrong, which is guilt, which makes them feel that they are wrong, which is the shame. As a result, they'll do anything they can to avoid that, even if that means denying facts. Maybe you want them to give closure because you just want them to admit that they did wrong. Again, they're not going to. They're going to run away from that because they don't want to admit that accountability, that responsibility that reveals the guilt and the shame in their life. So here's what I want to tell you. Closure doesn't come from the narcissist. It's never going to come from the narcissist. Closure comes from you. Closure comes from you. You see, radical acceptance of the truth of what actually happened in the past, of what actually is going on in the present, as you break away, as you detox, as you get through the rumination, as you break free from all of that, is essential for you to actually understand, hey, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the other person to agree with me that this was bad. I can give you thousands of other people out there. I can give you communities out there to help you understand, hey, you don't need the toxic person's approval, that the abuse that they put you on was awful. But you can get that from a lot of other people that are happy, healthy, and whole, understanding, hey, we understand the stuff you just went through. And you don't need that toxic person's validation to feel that and to understand, hey, I have been through a lot of pain. I have been through a lot of shit because of this person. You don't need them in your life to be able to justify that. It feels like that a lot of times. It feels like if they would just admit it, then I would feel better. If they would just apologize, then I would feel better. Totally get that. And that makes sense. And that's common decency for someone to do that. But the thing is, you don't have to have their approval to be able to sit in the feelings, to be able to process them, and to be able to understand that that closure, that acceptance, that reality comes from you, not from them. One of the things I liked when I was looking up just stuff on closure, just trying to get an idea of like even the definition of the word, one of the phrases that stuck out was the ability to go beyond the limitations that have been imposed on you. Ability to go beyond imposed limitations in order to find different possibilities. What I want to tell you right now is right now you're living your life and you're like, wait a second, how do I get this closure? How do I actually figure out what's going on? You're living a life that has imposed limitations. You're living a life that has limitations on you, and that's relying on someone else to validate and give you that closure, and you're not going to get that. But I want to challenge you to go beyond that. To step past the reality of like, hey, this isn't going to happen from this person, so I need to come to the conclusion of what has actually happened. I need to come to the conclusion of here's the truth. Here's the story. I talk so many times and I work with people one-on-one to help them change the story, to change their life, because so many times you're believing a story of like, I need this. I need this acceptance. I need this validation from this person. I need them to do this. I need to get back at them. I need to, like, the list goes on and on. If you change your story, you change your life. If you shift your perspective, you're no longer trapped. You're no longer trapped by the limitations that the narcissist still has on you, even though you're out of the relationship. So I want you to know today, if you can change your story, you can change your life. And go out and understand that closure doesn't come from the narcissist, it comes from you. And last of all, I want you to know this. You're not crazy. You're not alone. You're not hopeless. Reach out.